We're Batman at 89. Hello and welcome once again to Bat Minute 89, the show that the CIA has an open file on due to all the probing we've been doing too damn deep into all these goings-on. 1 minute at a time? I don't know. I've lost the thread of this now. Who cares? It's a Friday. It's fun, and we should all be out drinking, not sat in talking. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
City Room, this is Niall McGowan.
Oh, well, nice and brief.
It ties into the minute, you know.
It does. How are you?
I'm very good.
Yeah, good. Well, on this fun Friday, we have another one. Quite light, but I'm sure we will get to the bottom of it anyway. The minute 51, it starts with Bruce thinking about his lady love, and it ends with a delightful craft project.
That's one term for it, I suppose.
Yeah, something for the kids. You know, get them involved. So we cut back in now for a brief second. We see Bruce thinking about how lovely Vicky is, just for a tiny bit. But then we cut to the actual meat of the scene. We cut to Vicky in her apartment. What is this? It doesn't look like an apartment. It doesn't look like somewhere you'd live.
Oh, this is, well, I guess so. Technically, she just moved there because she's new to town. But yeah, this is the same. I believe it's the same room we see later. Anyway, during the the whole it's nice place, lots of space, like that, all that business.
Oh,
but one thing
coming soon.
Yeah, but one thing that instantly pops out to me in that, like, particularly about what's going to happen at the end of this minute, what scene we're about to lead into, or maybe even potentially in what's going on here. So I was wondering if this was intentional. If you look at Vicky's apartment, a lot of triangles, very angular, lots of triangles and triangular points. And I was like, oh, why would that be? But then I guess the whole crux of the drama throughout the rest of the film, after these couple of scenes, is a love triangle, kind of, between, Bruce Batman, the Joker, and Vicky Vale. And then technically Knox is in there somewhere, but not so much. She's sort of very fallen by the wayside, even at this point. So I'm wondering if that's what they were trying to evoke. It's like, yeah, this is her whole thing, is that they've got their own drama, but she's the center of this love triangle that's about to unfold. If that was intentional, because particularly, not for just this scene, but like the next time we do see Vicky's apartment is during a confrontation between her, the Joker, and Bruce Wayne. So,
well, and she is almost literally sat in the middle of a triangle.
Yeah,
if you the window. Yeah.
But it's a weird looking, like, I guess you could say, oh yeah, it's a nice, lots of space, I guess, as they will say.
Steel beams, though. Look, they've painted them, but that's metal.
It does.
Isn't it?
It looks like it's underneath a bridge or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But then again, if this is based on sort of New York and stuff, maybe this is like a snazzy hipster apartment. Like the way at the moment it's cool to have bare brick.
Yeah.
Nobody likes bare brick. Screw you.
It could be as well. Like, yeah, maybe this was near a bridge with a train line on it or something, and this thing, when they refurbished we built a building around it rather than just knock down the whole thing or something. So that could be steel girders that were underneath, like a train track or something. But like,
isn't there? What's the Woody Allen one with the? Doesn't he grow up right next to a train?
Oh yeah. In Annie Hall. Yeah, he's
is it in Annie Hall?
Underneath a roller coaster, isn't it? Like, he grew up under the Coney Island roller coaster, so everything's shaking all the time. Or even in the Blues Brothers, because they're right next to the train tracks, and so it's a constant ricketing of of noise every couple of seconds, which would be absolutely horrific. And like, I'm a person who my flat is next to an open road, which is and it's above a pub, and there's a lot of noise. But
I feel your pain. I used to live above, not as rowdy a pub maybe as that one, but still a pub, and it was pretty loud sometimes.
To be fair, I've kind of made my peace with it, because you hear the pub jukebox a lot, and during the day it's fine, because like when you go to the bathroom, you're just getting like, oh, up the junction's playing. Oh, I like that song. And you do get a free ticket to the acoustic night downstairs, and the people and their vain attempts to perform, because sometimes you get someone who's good. If they're bad, you can just turn up the TV. It doesn't matter. But sometimes it's just incredibly entertaining to sit and just listen to someone trying as they might to reach the high notes of Thriller and failing completely.
Oh, God. Yeah, nobody should ever do that. And nobody should ever do Bohemian Rhapsody if they're karaokeing. Yeah. That's the stupidest thing you could decide to do.
I think I put up about someone was doing Queens of the Stone Age, No One Knows. I put up about it on Facebook. Oh. And I remember because the guy was a real, like, it was just like, no one knows. You could just feel like, no. You could feel the applause in between tunes of the guy it was audibly through the floorboards, a real.
Maybe they're applauding that it's over. Like, oh, it's over.
Let's think, he's got 5 more to go. Oh, Christ.
Although it looks like Vicky doesn't have to put up with a lot of this, because despite through the window, it does look a bit desolate. There doesn't seem to be a lot of noise here. She is on the phone.
Yeah.
She's calling up Knox. She's got a favor to ask.
City Room Knox, as he says. It reminded me very much of, you can get on YouTube one of the making of Batman movie, like little featurettes. And there's one of them hosted by Robert Wool. And I think they're doing it it's filmed within the Gotham Gazette, set. But it begins with like Robert Wool on the phone going like, oh, tell me something I don't know. Hello, I'm actor Robert Wool. It gets up.
He's just ruined the whole thing. You either do it in character or you do it as the actor completely. You don't half and half it.
It's bizarre though, because it's all these people milling around pretending to be like journalists. And I was like, well, we know it's Robert Wool. He just said it's Robert Wool. Just do it normally, man. Come on.
That makes no sense. Just do it as Knox. That'd be great.
Oh, he did it as if it was Knox talking like, oh, I've heard all these rumors about this thing. But again, too, it was just the fact that, like, of all the people involved in the film, who's going to host the featurettes? Like, well, none of the rest of them are going to do it.
Yeah, Jack certainly bloody wouldn't do it. But anyway, Vicky, her favor, she wants to know what is up with the alley at Pearl and Phillips Street. Now, I had a question straight away, because alley? Like, we have already established that this did not look like an alley.
Yeah.
Like, it was huge. It was just the side of the street. But they're calling it an alley.
Yeah. Also, again, looked like it was underneath some train tracks. So I don't know if that's a deliberate thing. But,
Maybe it's directly out her window.
It could be. It's like, oh, my God, I thought he was going to my house. And it turns out he was...
He was going on a panty raid.
Oh, God. But I did note as well, though, because I was trying to look up, this is supposed to be Crime Alley, what she's talking about. Is this the actual address of Crime Alley in the comics lore? And as far as I can see at the minute, it seems to be very much like it's in Park Row. That's what they call it. So this Pearl and Phillips thing seems to be made up for the film. But I think it's quite appropriately so, because Pearl and Phillips... And you would think of the Wayne murder, one of the most iconic things is the pearls falling down onto the street. So
and
it's
the Phillips head screwdriver.
No. But no, it seems like that might have been the thinking of like, oh yeah, the pearls. So, like, that's a real iconic at that point, because they just took it from like the Dark Knight Returns. So, but it becomes very quickly an iconic part of the Wayne murder. Although now, like as I recall, in this film. It's just like someone trying to snatch the pearls off her neck. And then in like Batman versus Superman, it's like the gun goes up underneath the pearls and she gets shot directly in the face, which is like, geez, that's a bit much. Come on. But like, and then the pearls cascade downwards because the thing goes back from the recoil or whatever. But
well, after getting off the phone with Knox, very, very short conversation, very brief, Vicky gets out lots of snaps, secret snaps of Bruce. Now, I thought these were very well taken. Yet again, much like Bob's photos, these look like model shots.
It's a bit. And not only because they're so well taken, it looks like Bruce is posing for them in a very model way. Like he's really snapping into position, and the head turned around with the sunglasses, and just it's like, make sure you get my good angle, baby. You know?
He could be advertising anything. He could be doing the shades. He could be doing the clothes. He could be advertising a cologne.
If we just took that photo and then like put on like Calvin Klein above it, and then no one could tell the difference. No one can go, oh, that's not real. It's like, no, yeah, it totally makes sense. But this Armani coat, you know.
Yeah. Armani. It looks like Armani. I'm going with that. Or who else? I'm trying to think what my cologne is. I can't even remember. I've only got one.
My dad's become really weirdly obsessed with the David Beckham stuff recently. I had no idea why, because it's like, that's okay. But he's really, I think because he got it as a Christmas present, and he's just like, oh, this is actually okay. So now he's like, I have to get more of that David Beckham stuff. I was like, there's a world of cologne, dude. He used to be a Brute man, but Brute seems to have fallen out of favor with him for some reason. Although I used to know a girl in university as well, and she used to wear Brute, which was a very she was just like, I just like the smell. So yeah, I don't care what your socio-political coding of Brute is. I'm as an 18-year-old girl, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna wear Brute. So
cool, I'm on board with that. All power to you. I've realised mine's Dior. It also looks like a Dior advert.
Oh, I was gonna go into like Celine Dior, and I was like, Celine Dion. What are you talking about? But
the gag will go on.
It's gone on too long. Some people are probably saying right now.
Much like this show. On the left-hand side here as well, I'm sure we'll get back onto Bruce, but on the telephone, there's something written on the dial, and I think it might be the number, but I couldn't quite make it out. It says there's something Gotham and then the number. And I was just wondering if you'd been able to pick up on what it says, because I was going to try and research, like, is this number significant in any way whatsoever? Is it a code? But I couldn't find anything.
I don't think my own research has come up with nothing on the number, and I don't, knowing from like Tim Burton's lack of Easter eggs in this film, I can't imagine it means anything significant. I guess it's you just put it in for a bit of added realism. Yeah,
like nowadays, as we've said with other things so far, nowadays that would be an Easter egg of some kind. There'd be something on there that you recognize.
Yeah, it'd be something like, this is like the Martian Manhunter's telephone number in a comic at some point, or something like that, you know. But
yeah,
but no, it can't really make out. It does seem to be. It's like it's handwritten, isn't it? So it's so I guess she's put it there to remember her own number. I guess.
I don't know. Why does it say Gotham on it?
No, it does.
Because that's not the area code. Sure.
But because American phone numbers are weird to me anyway. Because you always see, again, we can only gather it from TV and film, but you always get that like like The Simpsons, the Mr. Plow episode is like, call Klondike 53226. I'm like, Klondike? What the hell are you talking about Klondike for? It's like, you can't dial a letter. What?
Yeah, that's never been a thing over here, has it? Like having the letters in there. That doesn't really make sense to us. I didn't even understand what they were talking about until we started getting mobile phones. And you had letters to text, on the numbers. And I was like, that's what they mean. You press the number.
But then even that to me means like, that seems like such a overly, like, it makes the Klondike 53226 seems like that'll be incredibly long, because if you have to like, the numbers or the letters are on a number, but it's like, three letters to a number. So Klondike, say the K's in the middle. So that's to be like number 3 twice or something. And,
right. Well, see, I thought that initially because of texting, but I think with these phone numbers in America, that's not how it works.
Oh, right.
I think it just means you just press that number.
Oh, I don't know.
It's just easier to remember than 528762339 something. It's just like a little snappy. I think you can pay maybe to get the number you want that matches your business.
Okay. Well, I would say, would that not mean that people could potentially get their numbers mixed up quite easily if you had a word that was quite similar to it? But I guess you do see countless sitcoms where situations like that do happen, so maybe that's exactly what does happen. But I'm sure people in the listener society, if you want to chime in, if you yourself have a word telephone number, let us know, because over here it just doesn't happen. That never happens. So.
No. But, well, back with the minute. Vicky is trying to figure out what Wayne is up to, and she picks up a photo of Bruce here. But amusingly, when she picks it up, if you look through the back of it, when we see the other side, it's a different photo to the one she picked up. She picks up one where he's sort of looking off to the side with mad cheekbones and pout going on. Jesus Christ. But then when you see the other side of it, he's clearly looking directly towards the camera.
I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder. Continuity right there. Again, this is one of these classic things of like back in, the VHS days, you was not a chance you could pick up on that, because the idea of seeing through the photograph would be like, no, you could barely hold together the image itself on the screen.
You can barely see faces sometimes.
But this is a period. Plus, there's a period of time in my life where I briefly thought the Joker was some form of cyborg. So definitely wouldn't have picked up on that back then. I'll tell you that.
Oh no. To be honest, I do like obviously the clarity we have now. VHS, you were great at the time, but no, you don't hold up. But at the same time, it has led to an insane level of scrutiny, much like doing a minute-by-minute podcast. But we're mostly here for the fun.
I think the first time I picked up on like an image being so pristine was with a Batman film. I think it was when The Dark Knight came out, because I remember watching the DVD of it and been really amazed. I've been like, holy crap, you can see like flecks of white makeup in the Joker's hair. It's like that level of detail. I'd never seen a picture so pristine before. It's like, some people will be like, that was only like 10 years ago, dude. This technology has been available for like 20 years and you're only now getting into it. But like, yeah, come on, what do you want from me?
Well, I mean, I had DVDs from minute one, but I didn't get an HD TV for a little while, once they came out. So the first time I had a DVD that I could watch on a device that did 1080p, that was astonishing. Like, I know obviously now it would look like crap. It's not a Blu-ray, but I put Sin City on to test this new TV out, and that looked nice.
Oh, that's a film designed to look good as well. Like, it's really... Like, if anything's going to look amazing on any screen, it'll be that. But yeah, so...
That was my thinking, actually. Yeah. I was like, that's going straight on. I should have done that with Blu-rays. I should have tested that out. Whereas my first Blu-ray, I think, was... Oh, geez, I don't even know. I can't remember. Nobody even remembers Blu-rays anymore. They're already old hat.
But one thing I will say as well is, like, we kept the tabs that, Bruce Wayne had the big specs in one scene. Big glasses. And Vicky Vale had very similar glasses. This outfit Vicky's wearing, this kind of black polo neck number, very similar to an outfit Bruce wears later on. Like, I'm wondering who was picking this up from who? Like, was she like around the Bruce Wayne house and she saw like, oh, I like these glasses, I'm gonna win. Although you saw her with glasses first, didn't you? So
yeah, exactly right. And you've seen her with this on first. I think in a reversal of the stereotype, the boyfriend is taking the girlfriend's clothes.
That'd be amazing if they...
Like, literally taking her clothes, not just copying her.
It'd be amazing, though, if she came into the Batcave and was like, I'm only here because you stole my jumper. It's just like, all right, take him back. It's like, you really should wear this tucked into jeans. You look ridiculous. It's like...
But does it extend to underwear? Has Bruce got a nice stocking?
Maybe when the Joker at the end says, he's at home washing his tights, he knows something that we don't know. It's like, exactly. Like, it's not no shame in it. It's like, hey, do whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah, if that's your thing, go for it.
One thing I did find though, and just in relation to Vicky, and I might as well bring it up now because there's no, we're past the scene where it would have been technically relevant. But we've talked a lot about, Sean Young was, originally filming as Vicky Vale. And she fell off a horse during filming, and broke. I think Lauren Ashley Carter said it was her leg. We've heard reports that it was her shoulder, and I'll put the invite out to Sean Young to see if she'll come on. I've not yet heard back, but I doubt she will. But I did look up, and you can get a draft of the script. I think it's around the 5th or 6th draft. I've torn through. We can get the actual scene of the horse riding, the horse riding incident. And it's very short. It's at the beginning of the weird Bruce and Vicky date, which must have had to be completely reconfigured because it seems to have started during the day in this version. But we had exterior Bruce's estate, riding stables. They gallop up, they dismount. Bruce grooms his horse and Vicky watches. She says, "You're not bad on a horse." Bruce says, "Horses love me. I keep falling off. Maybe that's why they love me. You should see me. I'm one big mass of bruises," which could be like, covering up his Batmaning right there. There's this little horse excuse. But it does seem very eerie now, where it's like, oh yeah, Sean Young fell off that horse as well. And this is like, if you had that in the film, maybe she would have taken it as a real mockery of been like, oh, rub it in, why don't you? Jesus.
We need her on to address this. Come on. You can get on, and then we can get in touch with Jack. It's all happening.
The scene gets a little bit seedy, because it has, Vicky says, maybe we can arrange a little examination. Bruce, without missing a beat, puts the curry comb up through the rail and turns to her, says, "Yeah, how about right now?" And then the note is, Vicky is caught in her own sexual trap. Which is, it's like that escalated quickly right there.
I was going to start singing Lady Gaga's Love Games, and then I realized I don't know the lyrics. I only know that phrase from the song.
And then, just the scene ends with Vicky saying, "Just kidding," and Bruce saying, "You thought you had me there, didn't you?" And then they go on to the main house, and they have another little tidbit that's Bruce and Alfred talking about a historical society, stuff that's not in the finished film, but it's not relevant to Sean Young falling off a horse. So,
well, most of what we've said this minute hasn't been relevant, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, very little in terms of like exciting, dramatic things happening in this minute. Although we do go to a very exciting, dramatic person in this transition right now.
Oh.
Unless you have anything else on Vicky you want to bring up before we make the leap.
Discuss the cut.
Now we get a cut to transition, which looks like could have been a potentially fun day for the production crew having to create these photographs of like them all. It's a mass of photos of grinning corpses, and we see a CIA DDID nerve gas discontinued in 1977 file on this nerve gas that they're talking about, which we know the Joker might be manipulating into something else.
Ooh, that seems to be the implication, of course, that he's been working on it. I mean, obviously, because chemical weapons like this have existed in real life. There's Venomous Agent X is a real one. It's quite a similar thing. They're probably basing it on.
Could that have been a nod later on when he gets like, oh, he's been using Brand X? But although he got Smile X again, maybe that's what the X is about. It's like, oh yeah, it's the Agent X. Maybe that's what they're going for. So,
well, can I point out as well? One of these guys looks quite a lot like Bill Paxton.
You thought Bill Paxton? My mind went to former guest on the podcast, Ash Lurzak. I thought it looked loads like him.
Oh, okay. You know what? I can see that as well.
And now it's the realization, has Ash looked like Bill Paxton this whole time and I never noticed?
Oh my God. We're onto something here. Maybe they're the same person. He's not dead. He's moved to Liverpool. Yeah, I really thought it was Bill Paxton to the point where I actually looked up if it was. It isn't.
No. But this looks like... So I'm enjoying the way that they've had to like make sure you knew that this was some sort of wartime thing by having one of the corpses lie... body face down, but his head's tilted up, and they put a machine gun in his hand just so you know he was a soldier. And it's like it didn't need. I appreciate you put the effort in, but like,
well, yeah, because I get it from the pictures at the back of the pile. There's a helicopter, there's an explosion, things like that. Whereas that guy, his pose and stuff, he looks like he's having a fun time at the beach. That one wasn't really necessary with any of these.
I can imagine though this must have been a great day for everyone though. It's like, oh, we're gonna go out and shoot the Smilex or the discontinued nerve gas photos, and like, oh, I want to be in that, and they're getting to put on the old army fatigues and like just lie around in a bale of hay somewhere. And looks like they're having a great time.
Yeah, it looks fun. I would love to be a part of this.
You probably get some guy like writing into the podcast who's just like, I was one of those guys. It was the worst day of my life. You had no idea.
Trench foot.
Yeah, trench foots. It was raining. He's like, that hay. That's like, it's coarse. It's rough. It gets everywhere.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! You've ruined it now. You've ruined it. I'm going. See ya. No. At the back, speaking of the fun I mentioned before, look, the Joker appears to have left a like a party blower thing at the back there.
I'm assuming, is this the same one from his This Town Needs an Enema? Is this the same party streamer, or does he have a range of them?
Well, he probably has a bag. He's probably got them at like the what do you call it? Wait, what do you call it where you buy all your supplies if you're a shop? There's a bloody name.
Wholesaler.
Wholesaler. Yeah. He's probably gone to the wholesaler. But what's this at the front that he seems to be using as a paperweight? But it kind of looks like a Rubik's Cube, but it's not a Rubik's Cube.
Apparently, I actually do have a note on this.
Excellent.
Yeah, apparently, well, it just says, apparently it's a very rare Rubik's Diamond Cube. Which is
so it's like extra tough.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be that it's so rare that it's like, oh, it's amusing that he's just using it as a paperweight because he's, it's so valuable. Although I did look into it though then, because I was like, oh, apparently you can just get them quite readily. I don't know, like this little tidbit's like, I don't know how accurate that is, that it's super rare. But apparently there is.
Well, maybe it was then.
It could have been. Oh yeah, well, maybe in '89. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of demand for it, but it did lead me down a little rabbit hole of you can also get the Scube Diamond, which is a very similar idea, and then I did find the world's most expensive Rubik's Cube, which is created in 1999 or 1995, sorry, and apparently assembled from 18 karat yellow gold and over 185 karat of various gemstones.
It had to be, didn't it? I knew it was going to be something cheesy. It'd be gold or diamonds or something.
It's like by the time in its completed state, you would have admired 34 carats of rubies, 34 carats of emeralds, and 22.5 carats of amethyst, which I'm not too sure what that is, but it sounds valuable. And there's a picture of it, and it's like, that's needlessly expensive right there.
See, I thought, though, that maybe Joker had this. It was kind of to demonstrate his intellect.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but then if it was going to be that, it probably would be complete.
Yeah.
Because it's not complete. But I thought it was, because it's established he's into chemistry and he's a very intelligent man. Because spoiler alert, coming up soon, it does bring up his past and how smart he is and things. So I thought maybe this was to lay the groundwork because he's got all these government documents. He's clearly been manipulating chemicals. I thought maybe it was just a little thing like, well, he's so smart. He doesn't have a normal Rubik's Cube. He's got this thing. Yeah. But he hasn't finished it, to be fair.
I do like some of the other details we get around the room, though. Because this whole lair, it strikes me, it looks very much like an old 1960s Batman set.
100%. The lighting's different, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine them. They can imagine, Adam West, Burt Ward breaking in and them having a big pow wham splat fight in the middle of this whole area. But we get obviously a thing that I know will catch both our eyes, John, of the red drapes.
Yes, I know what you're going to say because I thought the same.
Yeah, very Black Lodge, Twin Peaks imagery. Obviously, this predates that, so that's clearly not what they were going for at all.
Well, you say that, but I mean, David Lynch has always used that kind of imagery. I mean, Blue Velvet has the curtains, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I can imagine, though, this is more... If you're going to, it might be something to do with, like, old stage red curtains.
Yeah,
Could have been more like, the Joker's theatrical nature is inherent in this, or...
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, no, maybe. Or maybe it could have been that Tim Burton did see Blue Velvet, and he was like, I really like that. But,
well, as the camera actually pulled back and up, and it reveals the lair, I love the way you do see the Joker in the background, sat there in the other room. I just thought that was really well framed. It was quite exciting. And also, he could be a lodge spirit between the curtains.
But I do enjoy that they've kept the added detail of the smashed television from it's still there. He's not got that fixed just yet. And then over in the far right, I think this is the only time on film we ever get an indication of the Joker's bed. It looks like it looks like a bed. It's got a kind of weird zebra patterned headboard. And of course, naturally,
and sheets.
Yeah, purple sheets, not too shocking there. Kind of an orange and black pillow.
Yeah, I thought that was like a leopard or a tiger print.
Yeah, it could be. Or even
why is the Joker into animal print? He's not like a sleazeball. What's going on?
I think he is kind of a sleazeball as well.
I don't know. Not in that kind of way. Is he a silk sheets man? Has he got rose petals scattered over the place?
But and then we had few little tidbits and a little mini American flag there. Just his endless series of lights that he seems to have on all the time. And we cut in then to him sitting sort of cackling away. Again, I like this little detail of him. He's just sitting cutting up these photos, just laughing. just the Joker and just sits around laughing to himself all day. It's like,
well, I mean, doing this, he is basically scrapbooking. He is essentially now an old granny. So, I mean, maybe he's kind of losing it a little bit.
Well, I think to be fair to the film, he lost it quite a while ago. But,
oh yeah.
But then of course we get Bob comes in to deliver the photos. And
the photos.
But we do again, to go back to the Rubik Diamond thing, because that's a children's toy. We see here he has a children's like a little. I've got marked down as a child's play bucket. I was briefly taken back. Child's play bucket? What? I was like, is a bucket with Chucky on it? Like, what's going on? But it's like, no.
Crossover.
Oh man, that'd be a great crossover. And then
that genuinely would be a really, really good comic. Someone has to make this. I know I give the listeners all these instructions of comics to make because I can't myself, but that one has to be done.
It's like the one guy who's doing them all. Like, oh, Jesus, John, I'm in the middle of the other one. What do you want me to do?
He still hasn't finished the first one we've mentioned on air.
But so we got a little pink, seaside play bucket that he's keeping all his scrapbooking with tools in there. And it's very Joker-esque because, again, as we see later on, he writes in crayon and stuff, and it's just sort of it speaks to his character of been, because he's very silly, and I guess people associate silliness with childlike things, and when you don't, before you take life too seriously. And of course, then it's the great contrast between the Joker doing something innocent and playful as that to being a demonic killer crazed clown guy and stuff. So
well, something I thought was interesting as well was the original draft doesn't have much different here, but there is it mentions that on his table with the CIA documents, it says that he's got psychotic doodles scrawled in crayon.
There you go again. So
yeah, but this made me reevaluate what we're looking at now, the end of the scene. Because initially I just thought, oh, he's got photographs, he's cutting up photographs, he's scrapbooking, basically. He's making little pictures. But if you actually look, I think he's coloured them in with crayon.
Oh, right.
Because take a look at them. They're black and white, but there's bits of bright colour. There's some really sharp green and blue, and there's a bright red at one point.
Yeah.
I think he's colouring them in.
Oh, it could be as well. Could be, he's doing a bit of both. Yeah, he's just Again, this is the beginning we get really seeing later on of the Joker as an artist. It's like maybe he's having this stuff.
If you can call him an artist.
Well, he calls himself an artist quite a bit, but I guess you have to start somewhere. So before you can run, you have to walk, and I guess this is potentially scrapbooking, sticking pictures together into collages, and then coloring them in. This is how he starts, I guess. I guess maybe he could be potentially jealous of Bob because he's, I bet, as we're seeing in the next minute, Bob's pretty good with these photos. For a guy shooting about a mile away from these people.
Yeah, he's the best cameraman ever.
Yeah, get some pretty nice snaps. So,
but that does it for my notes for this minute. Anyway, there's not much else going on.
Yeah, that's me done as well, pretty much. So.
Oh, so that ends this week. Unfortunately, it's been a fun week. It's been an exciting week. We've had a great guest on Monday.
Oh yeah,
and we have another great guest next week. Surprise, surprise! You'll have to tune in to find out. We don't ruin anything for you. We tease you. We give you a taste. Make sure you do join us again next week because it's a great guest and some great minutes. And we will head off into the dark night now. And make sure you get in touch with us because we are all over social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. And make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. That's the most important thing. Please, please, please. It's great. The more people who hear us, the better. We want to infect everyone with our Smilex, our audio version of Smilex. But yes, we will leave you alone to go and have a fun weekend. Have a great time, everybody, and join us again on Monday for minute 52 of Batman.
Next time, Enraptured Rogue. As our caustic clown has some cutting remarks for Knox, which resplendent reporter will leave the riotous ravager ravished and famished for romance? Find out next week as we have a guest who's in her element and worth her weight in crystal. Same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.